Slayer Shock is a game I found while rifling through the garbage bargain bin that is the Steam recommended section while just trying to go through my queue for the free cards during the Steam sale, cause I was that bored. I saw it and was immediately in love. I knew that this game would be amazingly shit. Holy fuck, was it incredible. Its graphical style is generic game plus bootleg Minecraft. Their little blurb to get you interested, I didn't even need to read fully, as all I needed to see was Vampire and Nebraska, which my brain implanted Alabama instead, actually, the first time I saw it. Of course, if it were Alabama, it would just be the enemies from Fallout 3's Point Lookout DLC. Before starting this game, I decided to look at the achievement list. It was like 15, and there are ones that go from 1 to 4 in Roman numerals. I have to assume that means there are very few levels, but what can you expect from a game that only costs like $1.99? Oh, what's that? That's the sale price? To shreds, you say? Well, it looks like I made off like a bandit, as this game only costs 10% of its initial value on sale. The fact of the matter is that this game seems short, so I had to stop as soon as I could and write up this intro. Now let's dive into the meat and potatoes of this sewage gem. Oh no. This shit is as bad as I thought. I thought maybe there was something neat about it, but it's just mash a button here, destroy a button there, annihilate your buttons for the win, and you're done. Perhaps the boss enemies take a bit more thought, but the minions and the lockpicking that may as well not have been added only require a bit of mashing to defeat. Welcome to Nebraska and all its vampires, I guess. So you play as a girl, too. That's neat. Gender equality and all that jazz. Couldn't really care less, though, as I could probably get immersed in a game even if I were a sentient ooze that shat dog biscuits as long as the game could draw you in and didn't make the dog biscuits using simple textures and a sneeze of color. Oh no. Just after I wrote that, I went back to recording, and I noticed that there were options to change the hue and saturation. You really can just become some sort of weird ooze thing. Sadly, you can't make them the same tone as a fresh sheet of paper, as I would have found it funny that a vampire killer was as pale as they were. You could, however, make them the same color as the void itself. Fun. The music is fine. Dreadfully boring and repetitive, but I think I could learn to hate it. Yeah, you heard me. Learn to hate it, as in I will absolutely get sick of it very soon. I think I just got one of their friends to pluck some strings for about 2 minutes and decided, yeah, that's good enough, Phil. We'll be sure to credit you when it's out. Don't worry, your self-published album will fly off the digital shelves and the real ones at the flea market in no time. Ah, there it is. Just a few minutes in and I already want to kill myself listening to these same tracks over and over again. They don't loop, they're short, and they are just the same acoustic guitar sounds that just kind of go a slightly different direction with how our musician wants to strum it. So, you played this game with some typical vampire hunting weapons, like the pointed butt plug of Andromedus, or the empty nail gun of Home Depot, or perhaps you're more interested in the piss slinger forged in the urine pits of Bethlehem. The non-monster characters are by far the scariest part of the game. All your friends stare at you with blank, soulless faces that actually make me want to kill them instead of the vampires, because they must be some form of demon that is not yet known to our world. They reminded me of generic models in a game engine, like whatever they did with that Baldy crap or whatever. They're horrific. It creeps me out way more than the so-called elite vampires and their weird minions and the Hunchback of Notre Dame looking ass. Speaking of those little shites, let's talk about their voice acting. The minions sound like the producers just asked their kids to scream and act like they were dying to get some good sounds. Also, I swear I hear an Ocarina of Time fairy noise every fucking time I kill one, as well as a stock squelch sound effect. Almost like these things with the red fairies you can get, except they sound like children and leave a pixelated blood splatter that looks like shit, especially if you can see it on the other side because it leaves the same splatter just black. It's been weeks since my first play of this game. I should have just finished it sooner as I could have refunded it, but I was just busy with life, that nagging bitch called work, and miscellaneous other things. One of those other things was to finish editing a video that I had been procrastinating on. I've been working on not doing that more, hence why this video is even being made. Anyways, let's just jump back in and see how I feel after my long break of this trash. Good fucking gracious, is this game worse than I remember. I tried to push forward a little more into it to see if it got anything more than shitty toys as weapons, foam dart gun, or shotgun, and maybe some other shit, by the way, but as it turns out, if you start losing at these little event missions, the game gets harder? It's like a reverse roguelite. Instead of the better you do, the easier it gets harder the more you fuck up. While that's not really a bad thing per se, it is quite annoying, and easily avoidable if you just start a new save. You don't want to start a new save? Why not? Upset you'll lose all that progress? It may be just a hunch, but I think this game really wants you to focus on stealth. But the mechanics are most certainly not built around it. Crouching does not offer better sneaking, enemies don't show up on the map unless you must kill them, and they can see through walls seemingly. Sneaking is also pretty hard, same with sprinting to just try and avoid bullshit, as they've put tiny little spike things all over the place in the grass, just so you can't go and think that you're free from bullshit by running or trying to be sneaky. Nope, you've just got to deal with the tedium and force yourself to get behind an enemy somehow. Speaking of enemies, I think there was a single enemy that really seemed like it was difficult. It was this thing that is basically the Grudge, and it takes a good bit to kill, even when the area difficulty is pretty low. And it explodes after a few seconds when it dies. I think everything about this game is a mess. Gameplay feels sloppy, there's supposed to be a story, but I can't seem to carry as no character seems to have any character. The big bads literally aren't called anything other than that at first. The setting doesn't make sense, honestly, because who the fuck would set up their vampire base in Nebraska? Anywhere more northern would have been better, and somewhere it was also more populated so they could blend in more easily. The stealth doesn't work for reasons stated earlier, the weapons suck, the missions have to be the dumbest shit ever, as it's kill X, Y, and Z and then hold H to leave, or touch this post and then go back where you started and touch another post, oh, and hold H to leave when you're all done. And the lockpicking is useless because mashing is really the only way you need to do it. I also don't care about getting weapons because half of them are toys, and the other half are so generic I couldn't care less if they're any good. Not to mention, you could probably just play the whole game with just the steak if you have the same patience and strength of will as a celibate at a brothel. Shove is the best thing for the steak, though. I should mention this, because it immediately removes the threat to an incoming enemy. It gives you like a full second of stun. After enough times of continuing to die on shitty trick-or-treat missions that didn't even involve candy, just dust, I was sick of it. I quit the game, uninstalled it, and will proceed to never touch it again unless I absolutely, positively must open it back up. In a way, I'm kind of glad I'll never see the end of it, as I didn't have to waste my life trying to achieve a goal that didn't really matter. I could probably get more entertainment out of cataloging flakes of skin from each US president's ass, and writing each piece of it down in Lord of the Rings Elven language, that I would have to learn from scratch. So, can I recommend this game? Hell no. Fuck this thing. Whoever worked on it is either a master of deception or just some guy honestly trying to make games. Whichever it is, I don't think I care, and if you ever think I'm being too harsh, just remember, I also don't fucking care. If I don't like a game and I think it is bad, I'll say it, and if you don't like that, you can kiss my newly cataloged presidential ass flakes. That's it for this one, and remember to like and subscribe, or the aliens at YouTube will kill me for my insolence. Seriously, I didn't even write this. I think I'm also missing a kidney.